Hello, my name is John Deal. I'm an adjunct instructor at Bucks County Community College, and this is the second in a series of question times for the course American National Government, Poli-Sci 111, E59, Distance Learning. Today is Wednesday, March the 4th, and I have some very good questions from a few of the students in the class to go over briefly with you. James Krupa asked, how can federal laws burden local government? And much of the burden on the local government comes from what we call unfunded federal mandates. Aid to the state and local governments comes with strings attached. And sometimes there is something that the state and local government is told to do without any funding whatsoever. So you have unfunded mandates and you have underfunded federal mandates. The National Governors Conference comes out every 6 months and issues a resolution that they feel that this is really a bad idea. Obviously, they don't like being told what to do without getting money to do it. This has been an issue with Interstate 80 in northern Pennsylvania. Governor Rendell wanted to place a toll on the highway to help build infrastructure, particularly new bridges and repairing old bridges. And he was told by the Department of Transportation, the National Department of Transportation, this would not be permitted under the highway funding that Pennsylvania does get from the federal government for interstate highways. There's an example of how the federal government can tell the states what to do. In this case, Congress passed the law, and then the Department of Transportation implements the law without the President or Congress necessarily knowing what's going on a day-to-day basis. So there are a couple of examples of how the federal government can tell state and local governments what to do. There is a provision that if there's going to be an unfunded mandate over $58 million, it has to be approved by a majority vote of Congress. And that's only been done twice where it's been over $58 million. So I suppose there is some thought at least being given to the unfairness of the situation. Some examples of unfunded mandates are Help America Vote Act, the HAVA Act, which we studied the other week. Also, No Child Left Behind is a good example. Americans with Disabilities Act, they will require that certain things be done by the state without giving money to do those items. Anytime the state or local government gets money, there are strings attached. And sometimes they don't even get the money. So I hope that answers a little bit of James' questions about how the federal government can tell the state and local governments what to do. Josh Minich asked about what the Civil Rights Act of 1957 did, and basically it set up the United States Civil Service Commission. The Civil Service Commission is to research, report upon, and make recommendations about any civil rights issues in the nation at large. It has been reconstituted 6 or 7 times. It's been renewed by federal laws over and over again. It was first announced by President Eisenhower, who felt that it was necessary to address the civil rights problems in a systematic, long-term, nationwide way. Otherwise, he felt that nothing would be done about it. Then Senator Lyndon Johnson also felt that this commission would be able to come up with some kind of recommendations that reasonable men would agree were necessary to help with the civil rights situation. Also, the Civil Rights Acts of 64, 65, and 68, the Housing Act of 68, came out of recommendations by the Civil Rights Commission. So, I think that would be an excellent term paper topic. As in the previous question, these are good ideas that are interesting that students could work on for their term paper. Mr. Krupa also asked another good question. How could a nonpartisan election commission ever be possible? Isn't everybody biased? Well, if you take a look at the presidential elections and take a look at the debates, the commission that sets up the presidential debates is not nonpartisan. It is bipartisan. It has a certain number of Democrats in it and Republicans, and each has the same amount of votes. And the criteria for getting onto the debate is that one be able to get a certain amount of votes in the previous presidential election, their party at any rate. So we have a catch-22 situation. If one is unable to get on the debate, they don't get that many votes in the election perhaps, which is usually the case, and therefore they never do get to debate. So it's a catch-22 for third parties, and the Republican and Democratic parties like it that way because they really don't want to deal with the third party complicating the situation. Also, the Federal Election Commission gives money out to candidates using the same formula as it has to do with the number of votes in the previous election. When you fill out your tax forms, you can check a box which says that you want $1 to be given to the presidential election fund, and that was supposed to make it a more level field, but really the two parties have control over that as well. You might be interested to know that most of the city elections around the country are actually nonpartisan. You're not allowed to run as a Republican or a Democrat, but really it's still a two-party system in disguise, because the socioeconomic groups that are behind the various candidates pretty easily can be translated into a Republican agenda or a Democratic agenda. So, James, you're right. It's hard to get rid of the non-partisan, the partisan aspects of our country into a non-partisan way. So I agree that it would be very difficult. Something that comes to my mind, a quick change that could be made simply, at least as far as legislation goes, would be to lower the threshold for participation in getting government funding for your campaign, or even free funding for campaigns on an equal basis for all candidates, paid for by the government, as is done in the UK and some other European countries. That way you could probably come up with a true nonpartisan situation. But so it is possible, but yeah, you're also right, it really doesn't totally exist right now, Jim. So good point there. Another question refers to the midterm exam, and I don't remember what student asked me about that, but probably lots of you have that on your mind. The midterm exam has 66 questions. They're multiple choice, true, false, matching, and importantly, there's a series of essay questions, well, one paragraph questions at the end of the test. It's a rigorous test. It's 2 hours in length, and the essay questions are such that they really test how well you have understood what we have done, and it asks you from examples to back up some general ideas. I feel that that's a good way to see how carefully you have read and paid attention up to this point. So it is rigorous, 66 questions. There's a series of one paragraph answers, and you really have to be detailed on those, because a lot of the points on the midterm exam are on these short paragraph answers. And back to James again, he had still another question. It's our last question for today. What can the federal government do about partisan gerrymandering? I have a quick answer to that. The federal government can do nothing about partisan gerrymandering. There was a Supreme Court case, Veith versus Jubileer, which had to do with the Pennsylvania situation, which said that partisan gerrymandering to try to have a particular party win in various districts, is non-justiciable, which is hard to say, but what it means is that it doesn't have basis for going to court. The Supreme Court has ruled out any kind of jurisdiction in handling partisan gerrymandering cases. They will handle racial or ethnic or minority gerrymandering cases, but where there is a strict scrutiny. But in the partisan gerrymandering, you're free to go about your way. The Supreme Court has given up trying to handle that situation. So there is no answer right now for that. Well, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and that some of these questions have spurred your interest in some term papers. And please keep the questions coming, and I hope to have several more of these question and answer sessions as we go through the course. Thank you very much, and have a good day.